Some stories crawl out of the grave. Others are buried beneath ice and silence. From the bone-dry heart of the Australian outback to the snow-blind trails of Siberia, terror doesn't knock, it waits. Here, we tell the tales that stay with you long after the fire's gone out. Zombies, vanished hikers, unsolved deaths, end-of-the-world whispers that echo through time. This is Aussie After Dark, the place where the line between fact and fear disappears. So light a candle, lock the doors, and don't blink. Because the story you're about to hear might just be true. And if you can take a second to subscribe, it really motivates and helps to continue these stories. Well, anyway, let's join Mason once more. They say courage is the absence of fear. But I've learned that fear never leaves. It just steps aside when something more important shows up, like survival. We'd held the line. Now we had to leave it. 33 civilians, 8 cops, 1 city falling to pieces, and a girl with a cricket bat who had more guts than most soldiers I've known. The sun hadn't breached the rooftops when we gathered in the foyer of City Hall. Light trickled through dust-caked stained glass, painting the room in ghost colors. Jenny moved among the survivors, checking bandages, handing out rations. Her face bore the kind of weariness only grief could carve. Even her uniform, stained and torn, seemed tired. Naya stood beside me, cricket bat slung over one shoulder, hair tied in a rough ponytail. Her sharp, tired eyes swept the crowd, always counting, always watching. Sergeant Travis did roll call. 8 officers still breathing. Most had the 1,000-yard stare, not just from the infected, but from what they'd had to do to people they once called neighbors. Tahi, the Pacific Islander constable with hands like bear paws, had tears in his eyes but never let them fall. Halim, calm and meticulous, polished his weapon like a priest with a holy relic. Myers lit a cigarette and cursed softly. First sound from him in hours. When we left names written on the walls. No graves, just memory. Day 4. The departure. Our path was south, down George Street, past crumbling law offices and gutted coffee shops. The trucks were too loud. Jenny insisted on silence. She was right. We walked. Slow, deliberate. Survivors clustered tight. Mothers clutched children like lifelines. An old man named Tom muttered hymns, voice dry and cracked. We passed a collapsed tram line. Wires hung like vines, swaying in the wind. Shadows tricked the eye. Every gust made us raise our weapons. Then came the smell. Rot. It clings to your throat, your skin, your memory. And it always came before the dead. At Turbot and George, an overturned city bus blocked half the road. Tahi took point. A figure moved inside, slumped, then upright. We froze. Naya stepped closer to me. Jenny raised her rifle. The infected woman, once a nurse by her faded scrubs, slammed herself against the bus door, blood-streaked hands clawing air. More came, from behind cars, from alleys. 12. Jenny whispered, "Make it clean." Quiet. We moved in formation, one line, officers forward, survivors crouched behind. Halim used a knife. Myers, a silenced pistol. Jenny took the one in the bus with a crowbar. Naya didn't flinch. In a wrecked pharmacy, we heard sobbing. Ortiz found her first, a girl, maybe 10, curled under a collapsed shelf. Dusty, bloody, alive. Naya dropped to her knees beside her, offered water. The girl took it like a wounded animal. Her name was Lily. Her parents locked her in when the screaming started. They never came back. Jenny wrapped her in a jacket. No one spoke. We just made space. Further on, a man waved us down. Leg crushed under debris. Suit coat shredded. "Help me, please!" Travis stopped. We had no stretcher, no wheels. Tahi moved to lift the rubble. Jenny stopped him. Calm. Have you been bit? His silence answered. Jenny's hand hovered over her pistol. The survivors murmured. Some begged. Some turned away. Mercy never feels like mercy when it sounds like a gunshot. We left the body with a rosary. Victoria Bridge. It swayed in the wind. Burned-out cars choked the lanes. Banners for old art festivals flapped like ghosts. We crossed 2 by 2. Silent. Every step echoed. Midway, Travis signaled halt. Figures on the far side. Not infected. 5 people. Dirty. Armed. A woman stepped forward, rifle slung low. Red braid. You're leaving? Jenny nodded. Heading south. Logan, heard a signal. We've got children, supplies, one sick. Naya whispered. We can't leave them. I said it. Then we bring them. But we move at dawn. No later. Howling in the distance. Metal scraping concrete. A storm coming. Every step forward, another gamble. Every life saved, another burden. Another reason not to give up. We weren't out yet. But we were moving. We were the last line. And we weren't broken. Not yet. Day 5, the Red Hour. Brisbane wasn't just a place anymore, it was a weight. We sheltered in what was left of a convention center. Roof half caved, water pooling. Smelled like mildew and ash. Elspeth, the woman with the braid, had 3 kids, and 1 sick teenager. He hadn't opened his eyes. Jenny did what she could. Blankets. Prayers. Naya sat beside him, held his hand. Said nothing. Travis organized watches. Tahi muttered, "Storm's coming." Pressure dropped. Smells electric. Jenny took command. We move before first light. I don't care if it's raining frogs. Storms change more than weather. I took 3rd watch. Me, Halim, Elspeth. She'd been a year 6 teacher. Used to think 12-year-olds were exhausting, she said. Now I miss it. She looked toward Myers. That one doesn't like us. She wasn't wrong. Myers had been a good cop. Day 2 broke him. Didn't trust easy. Didn't speak unless he had to. Always gripping his weapon too tight. He said it plain. We can't save everyone. Dead weight is still dead. Then the bang. Metal slammed against concrete like a hammer blow to the skull. Screams tore through the dark. The power flickered, then bathed everything in pulsing red. The city opened its eyes. They came from the loading docks. 5, no 6, maybe more behind them. Infected, foaming at the mouth, eyes like shattered glass. Naya grabbed Lily and backed toward the stairwell. Jenny was already shouting, her voice shredded by panic. Form up! Cover the kids! Drop anything that moves! Tahi emptied an entire magazine into the first one through the door, tore its shoulder clean off, but it kept coming. Halim screamed and drove a crowbar through another's face. It thrashed on the floor, chewing blood and concrete. Myers froze. Just a second. Then he fired 3 rounds into the chest of the one, barreling toward Elspeth's daughter. Too late. The girl hit the ground hard, head snapped against the metal floor. Blood. A tremor in her limbs. Then stillness. Elspeth screamed. Fall back! Travis roared, voice raw, barely audible over the gunfire. Guard the kids, don't get split. People lost control. Training, plans, orders, it all fell away. Some fired blindly, others ran without looking back. Instinct took over. Survival took the wheel. Someone shoved past me, bleeding from the mouth, screaming a name I didn't recognize. Another climbed over a crate, only to disappear under a swarm of clawing limbs. The air reeked of sweat, blood, cordite, and panic. We split anyway. The air was fire and thunder. A wall collapsed behind us. Concrete dust filled our lungs. Rain poured in through the shattered ceiling like the sky itself was bleeding. In the chaos, the sick boy vanished. He was breathing, Naya cried. I swear, he was still breathing. She turned. He was there, right behind her. Face bloated, skin pale, black veins pulsing beneath the surface. Then he jumped her. Naya screamed as they hit the floor. He snarled like an animal, fingers digging for her throat. Lily didn't hesitate. She lifted the rusted fire axe from the ground and swung. Once, twice, 3 times, until what was left of him wasn't human anymore, just pulp and wet breath on steel. Naya sobbed beneath the blood. I pulled her up. We don't leave anyone, I said. Not unless we know. Elspeth stumbled through the wreckage, eyes wild, voice cracking. My daughter. She was with Ortiz. Where is Ortiz? No one spoke. Jenny's face told the truth. Ortiz had fallen in the first wave, dragged into the dark, screaming. The girl had run, right into the line of fire. There was no saving her, only pain left behind. Elspeth dropped to her knees. A sound left her that didn't belong to any language, just raw, soul-deep anguish. She clawed at the floor, fingers bleeding, as if she could dig through concrete and rewind time, tear it open and pull her child back. Her breath came in sharp, broken gasps. Her whole body shook beneath the weight of it. Grief, panic, disbelief, all crashing in at once. In the span of a heartbeat, Elspeth had lost everything. 3 children. Gone. And around her, the rest of us were no better. Some had fallen to the infected. Others had vanished into the chaos, scattered like ashes in the wind. Then, a sound. A cough. Faint. Wet turned. There, beneath a tangle of broken limbs and bloodied tarp, something moved. A hand. Small. Trembling. Wait, I said. Elspeth froze. Together, we lifted the bodies, layer by layer. And there she was. Beth. Barely breathing, drenched in blood, covered by the dead, but still alive. Elspeth let out a noise that wasn't quite a cry, wasn't quite a laugh, just a release. She fell to her knees and gathered the girl in her arms, holding her like the world was ending all over again. And maybe it was. But in that moment, we had something the city had nearly burned out of us. Hope. Meanwhile, Halim worked the radio, hands trembling as blood trickled from a cut on his temple, dripping onto the circuit board. He adjusted the dials with shaking fingers, muttering under his breath, trying to force order from the static. Behind him we regrouped. Some limped in. Others were dragged. A few didn't come back at all. Out of the 38 survivors from my group, only 19 made it through the fight. Elspeth's group had fared no better. 6 of them survived the onslaught. 26 of us left. 7 were cops. The rest were civilians, families, children, people just trying to hold on. I took a slow head count, my chest heavy. Then I saw Naya, sitting against the wall, eyes hollow, blood on her face, none of it hers, and beside her, Lily. Silent, still gripping the axe with white knuckles. She stared at the floor like it might reach up and grab her. I crouched down. You okay? I asked. Naya nodded. Barely. Lily didn't answer, but she didn't look away. Before I could say more, the radio crackled to life. A voice, faint, distant, broken by static, but real. Vac Point moved. Muruka, tunnel blocked. Extraction in 48 hours. 48 hours. That's all the city was giving us. That and each other. Tahi sadly said, that's south. Still miles. I spoke. And a city full of teeth between. Jenny looked at me. Then we don't stop. Not again. No more holes. No more delays. We bring everyone we can carry. And we move. 19 civilians. 7 officers. 1 city. Naya walked ahead. Bat low. Eyes hard. The storm didn't kill us, but it baptized us. They say night is darkest before dawn. They forget. dawn isn't always salvation. Sometimes it just shows what's left.